You probably don't get respected by your mom and dad. Whatever you say, think, or feel, they just kind of put it to the side. Why? Because their generation was a lot harder. It was a lot tougher. Your generation is a lot easier. You have everything on hand, right? So what are you complaining for? What are you complaining? You have a roof on your head. We're giving you the food. We're paying the bills. There's nothing for you to complain. I want to address something here because I think it's very, very important. I've gone through this. I still go through it where there's this generational gap, right? And it's that our parents think that, you know what, just because we're children, just because we apparently don't know anything, that it's okay for them to not respect us. And I mean respect not in a way where it's like, oh, I can do whatever I want. No, I don't mean that. What I mean is, look, mom, dad, I want to say something and I want to kind of share my opinions and views. Just have an adult conversation. They don't think like that, right? They're not willing to kind of go down that level because in their mind, they're like, we're too busy looking after the family in terms of the household, the bills and everything. I understand that. I get that. I pay my own bills. I pay all of that stuff. And yes, I don't have a family yet, but I'm coming from an experience of me going through it on the other end, right? As a child where I don't feel like whatever I say gets respected. I don't feel like even if it's like input, it's not respected. Whatever I say or do, it just goes in one ear and it goes out the other. Why? Because they think they know better. They think that they know it all and they think that what you say is wrong. And it gets me angry. Do you know why it gets me angry? Because it's like, I'm a human being as well, man. I have emotions. I'm not saying I'm gonna go and do stupid shit. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna go and do like messed up shit. I have an opinion, I have a view, and I want us to have a conversation. But it feels so difficult with the older generation that they're not able to kind of go down to that level, your wavelength. They're not being open-minded because they're stuck in a very narrow-minded, this is the way. When you think like that, right? When you think narrow-minded, that your way is the highway, you are going to push your children away. You are going to push your children away because for me, the way I look at it is like, if I can't have a real conversation with you, if I can't have an open conversation where we're able to understand each other, right? I understand you have problems, there's issues, bills and all that stuff, there's stress, but I'm also willing to help. This is not me saying that, oh, you got to do everything, right? I'm willing to help and be part of that. But if we're not even be able to do that, if we're not able to do any of those things, what's the point of having the conversation? What's the point of, trying to make it seem like, oh, everything is okay when it's not okay? You're probably going through this. I don't know. I'm just talking from experience where you want to say something or you feel something, right? And you want to share it with your parents, but you can't because when you share it, they'll ridicule you. They'll bring you down. Hey, why are you going through this? What do you mean? Back in my days, we had it so much tougher. We had the war, we had to flee, we had all this stuff. You have it easy. I'm not disputing that back then it was difficult. I'm not disputing that. What I'm trying to get you to understand is that why don't you try and understand where we're coming from, the stresses and pressure that we're going through, right? Social media is not easy. You did not have social media back then. I guess I didn't have it as well to an extent, right? But social media puts a lot of pressure on us. And it's difficult because our parents are not able to kind of come down to our level because I feel like in their minds, they think that, no, I'm the boss, you're the kid. That's how it goes. And you know what, man? Relationships like that are never going to work eventually because you're going to push your kids away. If you're able to just be open and listen to what they say and just see what they're going through, you'll be able to understand them more, where they're coming from. I'm not saying that everything we say as children or as kids is right. No, but it's about just being open-minded in terms of, okay, listening where they're coming from, right? Trying to understand what they're saying, why they're saying it. And when you do that, as a parent, when you do that, your child is going to be more open with you as opposed to saying, don't do this, don't do that. Look, there is gem in parents' experience when they say, don't do this, don't do that, because they're talking from experience. That's fine. But when you're saying, don't do this, and that's say, no conversation, what do you think your child's going to do? Your child's going to rebel. When you say something to your child, don't do this, they're going to do the opposite eventually. Oh, don't go partying, don't do this, don't do drugs and all that. They're going to do it, man. Trust me, because as human beings, we don't like to be told, don't do this, don't do that, right? Maybe as a young child, yes, you can. But as you grow up, when you're restricting your child so much, they will be rebellious. Why do you feel most people leave home and go to university? Because they want to get away from you, right? They want to get away from, oh my gosh, the strictness, oh, I can't do this because I'm in my family home. I want to go and live my life. But if you had that kind of open conversation from the beginning, where you talk to each other and you listen and you understand. Not everything that your child's going to say is right or wrong, of course not. But if you're just having that conversation, man, your child will feel much more valued, man. They will feel more appreciated, right? I have this problem even to this day that whatever I say, mom, like for example with my mom, I'm not saying my mom is a bad person, right? But it's just that there is that generational gap. Whatever I say, I don't feel any respect. I don't feel respected, man. And it's tough. It's tough because you're trying to do the right thing, man. I trying to do the right thing. Even when I'm in the wrong, I still go and apologize. And they're not willing to go down because of their ego, their pride. They're not willing to go down because they feel that if I go down, I'll be less of a person. There's not that many people in this world that would actually go and apologize when they do something wrong. Why? Because people feel like they got this ego, this pride. And no, I'm not going to apologize. There's nothing wrong with, all it takes is just one word. I'm sorry, I was in the wrong. That's it, everything is fine. Your child would appreciate that. But when you try and treat your child like as if they're nothing and that their feelings, anything it means nothing, man, you're making a mistake. You're making a mistake. Yes, I get it. You have stress, you have pressure, you have family bills, you have all these things to do, fine. But then you have to ask yourself, why did you give birth then? Why did you give birth? Like, if you're just doing and in a way it goes to like the status thing, right? Oh, I want my son and daughter to be this. That's fine. You want them to be a doctor and all that stuff. But you can't even have a real conversation with your child. You actually can't sit down and have a real conversation. What's that all about? Like, it's just for you to prove to other people, to society, like, oh, my son is doing this. I want you to become a doctor. But I don't know anything about a doctor, but I want you to become a doctor. What the heck, man? How does that help the child in any shape or form? I know people that have gone under this pressure and ended up doing drugs and partying to drink their sorrows away. This is real shit, man. Overdose, alcohol, all that stuff because they can't deal with the pressure from their family. Is that what you want for your children? If you can't have a real conversation, what is the point of family? What's the point of having a family? A family is where you open and understand and try and have conversation. I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying that I know everything from a family because I don't, but I'm coming from a perspective of being, on the other end. You just have conversation. You don't have to agree with everything they say, of course not, but just having those simple conversations. And then when your child feels more appreciated, they want to do more for you, man. A child really wants to prove to their parents. When their parents feel proud of them, you have that feeling inside you like, I made my parents proud. And that feels good. And you want to do more. You want to look after them. Even for me right now, like, I get to the stage where whatever I say just doesn't work. They don't respect it. When you keep kind of thinking that you know everything and you're not willing to go down, you will push your children away from you. Because your children will realize that no matter what I do or what I say, it's not gonna work. And yeah, there's gonna be people in the comment like, oh yeah, family is everything, mom and dad, regardless of whatever you do, you have to still stick by them. Yeah, okay, fine. But then you have to go through that experience first, right? When you keep getting brought down, anything and everything that you do gets taken out of context. You are the villain, regardless of whatever good deeds you do. How would you feel when you're at the end of that? You'll feel like, what the heck? What's the point of me doing this? But what I'm trying to get people to open up is like, have this conversation, man. Talk. When you actually talk, it feels good. You will feel good as well. But because you're so sucked up in your ego and pride, you're going to push people away. So I'm just kind of saying this because I was in this reflective mode. This is something I go through and it does get me annoyed and angry, and it's still something I'm processing as I'm going through this. So in conclusion, I just wanted to say this. The generational gap between the parent and the child is always going to be there. But the only way one can improve that is by communicating, by talking, by trying to understand one another and improve that relationship. Because if you can't do that, and if you're not able to do that or not willing to do that, that family that you wanted is not going to be what you kind of had in your mind, because everyone is all stuck up in their own egos. And unless you kind of come together and have a conversation, it's never going to improve. Everything starts from zero. When are you going to start? Peace.